Hey, good afternoon. This is Michael B, and once again, I'll be your host on episode 25 of the ongoing podcast series, The Anatomy of Modern Romance Scams. If you've been following along, you know that this is our podcast series where we're breaking down how these romance scams start, flourish, develop, and end. We're talking about how trust gets built, how manipulation happens, and how people are pulled into financial traps and obligations before they even realize it. I know this because a solitary message got through my defenses, and 10 months later, I got ghosted. So it's happened to me. Unfortunately, I can speak to it firsthand. And my goal is simple, to pull back the curtain and expose how these scams work so you can recognize them before they recognize you. I know I keep hitting it, but you just almost can't understand how brutal the aftermath is. I don't want my story to be part of your story, and I'm hoping that our conversations will prevent that from happening. Now, I didn't mean to record this episode as close to episode 24 as I will, but something happened, and I want to cover some very practical things today. I want to talk about some of the smaller clues about a romance scam. I want to talk about the little things that people often ignore until it's just too late. Now, what was the catalyst? I'll tell you. I got a letter in email, via email, from the IRS this week. Man, it looked, perfect. I'm going, good grief, and I started to panic until I read the salutation, which started with one word: Dear. DEAR. Now, again, I hope you never think I'm lecturing, because I'm not. If I come across that way, please forgive me. I'm sharing information, but I hope that you will listen carefully. The IRS has called me a lot of things over the years, but never dear. If you're seeing messages, emails, texts, or random contacts using dear, standing alone as part of the greeting, or throughout the conversation, your internal warning system should immediately start waking up. Your red flag should start blowing like there's a pretty stiff breeze. Now, does it automatically mean scam? Maybe not. And I don't want to offend anybody, but maybe if it's somebody standing right in front of you and they call you dear, that's okay. But if it's somebody that you're on the internet with in an ongoing conversation, and that solitary word keeps coming out, you're getting scammed. Yes, you are. I'll guarantee it 100% of the time. Now, I hate to be that blatant about it, but you are. Those hello dears, good morning dear, how are you dear? You can be months into this conversation and that phrase still comes out. It did for me. I'm like, hell, this person knows my name. We've talked about a lot of different things. Why am I getting called dear? But as soon as I said, hey, why are you calling me dear instead of Michael? They dried up. Then it became Michael. These scammers, especially many overseas, use that phrase constantly. You see it enough and eventually you start recognizing the pattern. And honestly, when I see deer now, my first instinct is not romance. It's not somebody calling me in a, calling me out with affection. It's somebody's trying to separate me from my money. Get your wallet out, Michael. That's exactly what it means. So if you are seeing that word, dear, whoever you might be, delete the message, block, and walk. I'm not kidding you. It'll be one of the smartest things that you ever did. Now again, not lecturing. Another thing people need to pay attention to are accents and communication patterns. Now, I may sound like I have an accent. I only know the English language. I'm not bilingual or multilingual. So, listening to me, you may go, this guy's got an accent, and I probably sound like I do. And I want to be very careful and very clear here. This is not from me. This is from the FBI, and almost every one of them that I've talked to, I've probably talked to, and there's a little bit of a guess, maybe 10 different FBI agents now. Every single one of them said, look, talking with an accent is a very huge red flag. Now, does an accent by itself mean scam? No, it doesn't. But be very careful, please. And again, my intent is passing information, not to inflame and not to create a situation where I have offended you. But the world is global. And people travel. People relocate. People work remotely. And this is my point with this. If somebody claims that, for example, they're from Texas, they're born and raised in Seattle, they work for the IRS, for example, or they're supposedly a successful American business professional, and nothing about the speech patterns, the humor, the slang, phrasing, or cultural references lines up with where they're from, born, raised, please pay attention. Because often these scams are being run from thousands of miles away, from people pretending to be somebody local and familiar. That's just not the case. And now with AI entering the picture, this gets even harder to determine. Voices can be altered. Photos can be generated, believe me. I went phishing with my bot, person, scammer, butcher, whatever you want to call him. This was me fishing in Alaska. Oh, this is me fishing over on the East Coast. Look at the tarpon I caught. Sure enough. But guess what? It was AI generated. I learned that too late. Video can be manipulated. With AI, AI is a fantastic tool, don't get me wrong. But it just means that it gives them more powerful tools to scam you with. So we have to become even more and more aware, not less. Let's continue. Another huge thing scammers struggle with initially is natural humor and spontaneous conversation. I can't tell you in the beginning how many times I would make a joke and she would miss it completely. I'd be laughing on, to myself and laughing over our text messaging. She'd miss it completely. Almost no response. I don't get it. Really? It is a simple joke. I mean, almost everybody gets it. If you use sarcasm and it falls flat, or you reference something culturally common and the reaction feels delayed, awkward, or disconnected, please pay attention. Those are red flags. Now, over time, they get much better at this. They learn. They adapt. They mirror. AI. Pretty soon, I tell a joke, they got it. She got it. Fact. Pretty soon, turn the tables, and the jokes were coming from them, from her. So you cannot rely on one red flag. And remember, they do learn, adapt, and mirror. So look for clusters. Look for, as we've talked about, patterns, accumulation of information, and accumulation of red flags. And of course, all the major rules still apply. If someone online asks you for money, gift cards, crypto, ask you to move conversations off platforms like Facebook or Twitter quickly, or offers to teach you investing, promises unbelievable financial opportunity, and can even show you that, or suddenly has an emergency that only you can solve, you're being targeted. Okay? You're being targeted. And there's always a backstory. And somehow you become the chosen person uniquely capable of helping. Nobody else on the planet can help me, just you. And oh, by the way, thank you. I love you. Dopamine, dopamine, dopamine. It's not coincidence. It's total engineering, total manipulation. And remember this, most of these people will never meet you. In my relationship, man, it was like, I bought my tickets. I'm ready to come. Sure. Just tell me when I need to come get you, pick you up. Let's, sign these contracts and let's get things going. They ever show up? Heck no. The relationship stays online so it can stay controlled, compartmentalized, and carefully managed. They're not who they say they are. Now, some will video call, and that threw me off badly. But even there, please pay attention. Because does the environment ever change? It didn't for me. She was always at her dressing table, always kind of wearing the same clothes, same chair. It was the same back wall. Again, same dressing table, same angle, same lighting. And I didn't know then to ask her to stand up, turn around, move around, or stay on that video call for longer periods. I know that now. Because AI does struggle with that. But the technology is evolving quickly. And unfortunately, so are the scams. The other thing to watch for is again, emotional manipulation. This is huge. Flattery at every opportunity. Because they understand what dopamine does chemically in the biological sense. It's very strong. So, yeah, they're going to tell you how amazing you are. At every opportunity. Sometimes it might even feel uncomfortable. They're going to mirror your dreams. This is huge. Mirror your values, your pain, your goals. Oh, they just dig in. As soon as they know you and know what you want, they'll thread into your life. Visualize, if you will, the fabric of who you are. They weave themselves into that fabric to where they almost become part of you. Then comes the escalation of intimacy, creates dependencies. There's emotional pressure. There's financial pressure. There's secrecy. Don't tell anybody about us. They wouldn't understand. Silence. Again, seduction. Oh my goodness. Yeah. And once emotional attachment overrides logic, the trap gets incredibly difficult to escape. I want to talk about that for a minute because it's tearing my heart out. I see all over the internet where people's loved ones are involved and they can't get out. They don't escape it. They even know that they're getting scammed. They still send money. And the families are just ripped. They don't understand why. Let me explain that. Because they're involved so deeply emotionally that logic is just really getting trampled on. It's almost to the point where they can't even see it. So I call it the attachment override model. You're not going to see it anywhere in a textbook, but that's exactly what's going on. I'm guilty of it. It happened to me. I know exactly what that means. But please hear me clearly. These scams don't primarily target stupidity. They don't. They target trust. They target loneliness, hope, curiosity, and the human connection. And they absolutely target vulnerability, something that we've talked about. People don't like to think that they're vulnerable. But if you sit back and you look at it, chances are you do have some vulnerabilities. You need to be aware of those because those are doors that open up into the realm of romance scams. They do. So be aware of those so that you can be cognizant of it and cautious. If you have been scammed, please don't go through it alone. Man, I know it's brutal. I don't think I'll ever be the same person. I truly don't. I am trying hard to find who I once was. It's so elusive, so challenging. But let me put it out there to you. Fight. Fight like hell. Fight for yourself. Fight for your family. Don't give up. Yeah, you or they or I made one hell of a costly mistake. And yeah, maybe forever defines part of your story. But it does not have to define all of your journey or all of you. So stay in the fight. Take care of yourself. Understand these. Rip them apart. Digest it. Understand the components. Understand the engineering of it. And forgive yourself. It'll be the hardest thing you ever did if you're the one involved. It'll be very difficult to forgive that person in your family. Please don't give up on them. And don't make it harder on them. Don't make it harder on each other than it absolutely has to be. It'll be difficult enough. I'm with you. Give me a second. Look, thank you for listening. and for spending this time with me today. This has been the Anatomy of Modern Romance Scams. I really hope this episode helped you better understand how these scams work. Please consider sharing it with someone you care about. We have to be even more aware than we ever have been in the past. Remember the things that we talked about, especially that word dear. If you see that, run like hell. Delete, block, and walk. Remember the other rules that we've established. I can flat guarantee you, you're being scammed. Join me next time as we continue breaking these down, and I hope today helped you understand just a little bit more. Until then, please be safe. Always be safe. Stay aware, stay protected. Have a good Memorial Day weekend. No road rage. Give people the benefit of the doubt. Be courteous. We're in this together. Let's have everybody come home safely. I'm Michael B.